The universe quivered, not with the tremors of earthquakes or the eruptions of volcanoes, but with the subtle ripples of quantum realities colliding. Chukwuemeka stood at the center of this maelstrom, clutching the O4, a sacred artifact, realizing that he held the key to manipulating the very fabric of existence. The implications were staggering. The power to alter reality could either elevate humanity to new heights or plunge it into unprecedented chaos. As he gazed into the shimmering depths of the O4, he saw glimpses of parallel worlds realities, where history took different turns and possibilities were endless. The weight of this discovery pressed upon him like a tidal wave, threatening to overwhelm his senses. He knew that, with this knowledge, came immense responsibility, and a single misstep could unravel the universe. Weeks earlier, Chukwuemeka had been a respected physicist, deeply rooted in empirical science, yet intrigued by the whispers of his ancestral heritage. The O4 had been passed down through generations, a symbol of authority and truth among his people. It wasn't until he observed peculiar quantum fluctuations around the artifact that he considered its potential scientific significance. Curious and eager to learn, he experimented using modern quantum theory and ancient wisdom. He was surprised when the O4 responded, connecting different dimensions and allowing him to see parallel realities. This mix of tradition and technology made him realize that the old and the new aren't enemies, but work together to help us understand more. Emboldened by his initial findings, Chukwuemeka assembled a small team of trusted colleagues. Together, they designed an experiment to interact with a neighboring reality. The laboratory was excited as they activated the O4 within a controlled quantum field. Time seemed to stand still for a moment, and the air hummed with unseen energy. A portal flickered into existence, a window into another world. Through it, they saw a familiar yet distinctly different landscape. The success was exhilarating. They had not only observed, but also made contact with a parallel universe. The possibilities were limitless, and the team celebrated, unaware of the delicate balance they were disturbing. Amidst the jubilation, Chukwuemeka couldn't shake a lingering unease. His grandmother's warnings echoed in his mind. The O4 is not merely a tool, it is a bridge between worlds that should remain apart. He dismissed the thought, attributing it to superstition conflicting with scientific progress. Yet, a part of him wondered if there was wisdom in her words. He decided to visit her, seeking reassurance. "Grandmother, we've made incredible advancements," he began, explaining their achievements. She listened quietly before responding, "Child, the universe is vast and mysterious. Be careful not to open doors you cannot close." Her eyes bore into his, conveying a deep understanding that transcended logic. Returning to the lab, Chukwuemeka found his team eager to push further. They proposed a more ambitious experiment to observe and interact with the alternate reality. Hesitant, yet driven by the thirst for knowledge, he agreed. The O4 pulsed with energy as they initiated the sequence, and the portal widened, allowing matter to pass between worlds. At first, everything seemed under control. They exchanged objects, tested environmental conditions, and marveled at the similarities and differences. But subtle anomalies, minor fluctuations in their instruments, and slight temporal distortions began to appear. Dismissed as technical glitches, these signs were ominous harbingers of what would come. As days passed, the anomalies grew more pronounced. Team members reported déjà vu experiences. Objects appeared in places they shouldn't be, and time seemed erratic. Chukwuemeka delved into the data, and his concern mounted. The boundaries between their reality and the parallel one were blurring, and the integrity of both worlds was at risk. He called for an immediate halt to the experiments, but some colleagues resisted, enthralled by the potential and dismissive of the dangers. Tensions rose within the team, dividing those who heeded caution and those blinded by ambition. The fracture was in reality, and among them, setting the stage for conflict. Confronted with the escalating crisis, Chukwuemeka grappled with ethical questions. Had they overstepped the bounds of responsible science? Was the pursuit of knowledge worth the potential cost of universal collapse? He convened a meeting, urging his team to consider the ramifications of their actions. In search of guidance, Chukwuemeka returned to his village. Sitting by the fire, his grandmother shared stories of ancestors who respected the balance of nature and the unseen threads that bind worlds together. The Ofo is a gift, but also a responsibility, she reminded him. Use it wisely, or risk unraveling all that is. Her words resonated deeply, illuminating the path he needed to take. He understood that modern science alone could not solve the predicament. He needed to embrace the harmony between his heritage and knowledge. With renewed purpose, he decided to act, bridging the gap between tradition and innovation. Back at the lab, Chukwuemeka discovered that a faction of his team had continued the experiments in his absence. The portal was now unstable, fluctuating wildly and growing in size. Panic set in as reality began to distort. The walls shimmered and gravity fluctuated. They had crossed a threshold, and the collision of worlds was imminent. Desperation fueled his actions as he tried to shut down the portal. Error messages flashed across screens, and systems failed one by one. A cataclysmic event unfolded as the boundaries between worlds collapsed. Chukwuemeka watched in horror as landscapes overlapped and the skies tore open, revealing a kaleidoscope of alternate realities. People from different worlds appeared confused and frightened, their lives uprooted by forces they couldn't comprehend. The collision sent shockwaves through the multiverse, threatening to annihilate all existence. The magnitude of the disaster was beyond measure, and Chukwuemeka felt the crushing weight of responsibility. Amidst the chaos, he vowed to set things right, even if it meant sacrificing everything he held dear. In the aftermath, the world was a fractured mosaic of realities. Communication systems were down, infrastructures crumbled, and societal order disintegrated. Chukwuemeka gathered the remaining members of his team, realizing that they were perhaps the only ones capable of addressing the catastrophe they had unleashed. They set up a makeshift command center, pooling their knowledge and resources. The challenge was immense: to find a way to reverse the collision and restore the integrity of each universe. Time was running out, as the instability threatened to consume all realities entirely. Recognizing the need for a broader perspective, Chukwuemeka sought out other survivors, including those from the parallel worlds. Among them was Adaora, a scientist from an alternate reality who had been conducting similar experiments. Together, they formed an alliance, bridging not just worlds, but minds. Combining their expertise, they developed a plan to use the Ofor's power with technology from both realities. It was a risky endeavor, hinging on the hope that the same force that caused the collision could also reverse it. Trust had to be forged quickly amidst the urgency of their mission. As they worked tirelessly, Chukwuemeka was plagued by guilt and fear. Nightmares haunted his sleep, visions of endless voids and the faces of those lost. Doubt gnawed at him. Was redemption possible, or was it too late? He confided in Adara, who shared her own fears and regrets. Their shared vulnerability became a source of strength. We cannot change the past, but we can shape the future, she told him. Her words reignited his resolve, reminding him that self-pity would not save the world. Together, they pressed on, channeling their emotions into action. Realizing that scientific solutions alone were insufficient, Chukwuemeka revisited his grandmother's teachings. He proposed integrating spiritual rituals with their technological efforts, a fusion of ancestral wisdom and modern science. Some team members were skeptical, but desperation outweighed doubt. They performed ceremonies invoking balance and harmony, using the Ofor as the focal point. The atmosphere shifted subtly, and there was a sense of calm for the first time since the collision. It was a sign that they were on the right path, reinforcing the necessity of uniting different forms of knowledge. With everything in place, they prepared for decisive action. The plan involved channeling energy through the Ofor to create a controlled implosion of the converged realities, effectively resetting the multiverse to its original state. The risks were enormous, and any miscalculation could result in total annihilation. The ground trembled as they initiated the sequence, and the air crackled with energy. Chukwuemeka and Adaora stood side by side, focusing their minds and wills. The Ofor responded, its glow enveloping them. Time seemed to slow as the boundaries between worlds began to reassert themselves. Just as success seemed within reach, a surge of instability threatened to derail their efforts. The system required more power than they could safely provide. Realizing that a personal sacrifice was necessary, Chukwuemeka made a fateful decision. He would merge with the Ofor, using his life force to stabilize the process. Adaora protested, but he was resolute. "This is my responsibility," he said softly. "Tell them our story." With that, he stepped into the energy field, feeling himself dissolve into the very fabric of reality. The Ofor shone brighter than ever, and the implosion proceeded smoothly. In a blinding flash, the worlds separated, snapping back into their rightful places. The skies cleared and the distortions vanished. Those who survived felt a profound sense of relief mingled with sorrow. Chukwuemeka was gone, but his sacrifice had saved countless lives across the multiverse. Adaora and the team confirmed that the integrity of each reality was restored. Communications were re-established, and the process of healing began. The story of Chukwuemeka's heroism spread, becoming a legend that would inspire future generations to tread carefully at the intersection of discovery. In the following days, reflections on the catastrophe prompted global discourse on ethical scientific practices. The fusion of ancestral wisdom and modern science became a subject of great interest, highlighting the importance of humility and respect for the unknown. Adaora dedicated herself to continuing Chukwuemeka's work with a renewed focus on responsibility and collaboration. She established a foundation in his name, promoting interdisciplinary studies, honoring tradition and innovation. The world had changed, and so had its approach to knowledge. Chukwuemeka's grandmother sensed his presence in the wind and the rustling leaves in his village. She smiled softly, knowing that his spirit lived on. The community gathered to celebrate his life, blending rituals old and new, symbolizing the unity he had sought to achieve. Across the multiverse, subtle connections remained a testament to the event that had briefly intertwined countless realities. People experienced fleeting moments of déjà vu, hints of shared existence that fostered a sense of universal kinship. The boundaries were respected, but the awareness of a more extraordinary tapestry persisted. The story of Chukwuemeka's journey reminds us of the delicate balance between exploration and caution. As we stand on the cusp of new scientific frontiers, let us remember the value of integrating wisdom from all sources. The universe is vast and mysterious, and our place within it is insignificant and immeasurably profound. May we approach the unknown with wonder tempered by humility, ever mindful of our actions' impact on the intricate web of existence. Chukwuemeka's legacy teaches us that ancestral wisdom and modern science are not opposing forces, but complementary paths leading to deeper understanding.